Hi guys, welcome. We want to talk to you about long arm quilting and what you need to know to bring us a quilt to long arm for you. When you bring in your quilt, you need to have your quilt top already done. Please check it to make sure all the seams are good, there's no holes, borders are lined up.
If the very edge of it is pieced, please do a stay stitch around the edge. If it's a solid border, that's not necessarily something that needs to be done. However, if it's pieced all the way to the edges, a stay stitch really helps.
It's not required though. I won't turn it away, but it is very helpful as far as getting your quilt onto the machine. When you bring us your quilt top, we need the top, we need a back. We have backs available in the shop. You can shop here and we can add it to your work order, but you need the quilt back. We require that all quilt backs be at least, bare minimum, 3 inches bigger all the way around. So if you look at the dimensions of your quilt, if your quilt is 60 by 60, your quilt back needs to be at least 66 by 66. We prefer 4, so we prefer 8 inches. 3 is our absolute minimum.
We'll
please
take
don't,
6.
Yeah, well, I'll take 18. But please don't try and skimp on that, okay, guys?
Don't round up, because we do have a surcharge if we need to add leaders and enders, or if I have to stand here and be a clamp.
Because I can't clamp it.
Then you have to pay me to be a clamp, and that's more than an eighth of a yard of fabric.
Yeah. Just make sure your back is big enough. Same goes with the batting. We like the batting at least 2 inches bigger, if not 3. It doesn't have to be quite as big as the back, but it definitely needs to be significantly bigger than the top. Okay, your quilt back needs to be seamed together if you bought yardage. You can pay me to seam it. I'm happy to do that. It's $10 a seam.
Unless it's a king size Minky, then it's $15.
Yes. So please have that ready. Please don't have selvage in your seam. Have that trimmed off. But feel free to leave the selvage on the top and the bottom.
We like to pin selvage.
We like to pin it that way. We prefer to use our own thread when long arming. If you absolutely have a thread you want us to use, please bring it. We'll talk about it, but we prefer to use our own, and we can pick that out when you come in. We carry batting from Quilter's Dream, some Warm and Natural and some Hobbs. A little bit of Windline. You're allowed to bring your own batting. We're happy to do that. We carry the batting we like the best, and that we think is the best. Take that for what you believe it's worth. Our minimum charge for quilting is $45. That covers most crib size quilts and smaller, table toppers and table runners that would run smaller than that. You have the minimum $45.
It is a minimum
because of the work it takes to load the quilt or the project, whatever it is, and program it. We are more than happy to do more than one table runner or more than one mini quilt on the same back, in which case we charge, and batting, in which case we will charge you by the square inch. Our standard go-to price is 2 cents a square inch. If you want it really dense, it goes up from there. Custom is very limited for us. Generally speaking, we don't do custom quilting. We don't do free motion custom quilting. We will
I do
set
some,
blocks,
but not much.
But
that runs
5 cents
generally
an
at least 5 cents an inch. Usually.
So our normal edge to edge is 2 cents. If you like it really dense, it can go 2.5 to 3. Once in a while, I will do a few for 1.5 that are really, really, really loose, but that's a very limited set of options. We try and have your quilts ready by an estimated date. Generally speaking, we try and stay within a 4-week time period. If you need it sooner, please let us know. If you know you're going to need something sooner and you don't have it done yet, come in and we can get you in our queue. Once in a while we'll do emergencies, but not very often and not repeatedly for the same people over and over again. Sorry, we love you, but we want to be fair to everybody. Preparing, please try and make sure you don't have 1,000 threads all over the top. I can help and clip some, but I can't stand here and clip your threads all day. So I apologize if there's still threads left, but
do what you can with that.
Do what you can. Borders and fullness and things like that, I cannot guarantee I can quilt out. Okay, so please measure your borders. Please try and have your quilt top as square as possible. I know that there's a concept that it'll quilt out. Not everything can quilt out, and sometimes it leaves a pucker in your quilt.
Or even a pleat.
Or a pleat. We do the best we can, but we do the best we can with what we're brought.
Right.
So please try and have it as flat as possible, and don't expect miracle work by the long arm.
No magic wands.
But we do our very best. That's...
As far as the back goes, if it's going to be seamed, we, like Liz said, we like to salvage out of it. It's also ideal if the seam can be horizontal because we get the best tension that way.
On the machine.
On that same note, as far as what we accept as quilt backs, cotton, 100% cotton is great. We will do flannel. We will do
minky.
Good quality minky. We do turn away some minky that is very stretchy. It's almost as stretchy as a jersey knit, and that's just because it puckers like crazy. Things we won't quilt are sheets.
Jersey knit. Sheets.
Jersey knit. Sheets have a different weave. They're tighter weave. It's a lot of strain on my machine, and I can't have my machine damaged because you want your quilt backed in a sheet. We reserve the right not to quilt through a sheet.
I prefer not to do fleece.
Not fleece. Fleece just has a totally different weave and it doesn't quilt well, so we don't accept those. We're happy to talk backs when you come in. We will select a back with you and seam it and square it up with you as well.
Also require batting.
Batting is not optional for us.
For us. It's our choice. We decided to have that requirement.
Okay,
Just
when you
talk
come
about
in
our forms
to drop off a quilt, this form is also available on our website in the same place you probably found this video, under the Quilting Resources tab. This is what we have you fill out when you come in. Mostly I need to know how to contact you. If you have a hard deadline for
graduation,
baby anniversary, baby shower, you need it back by this day, let me know. If that's 2 days away, you better have talked to me ahead of time.
Please.
It usually happens with baby showers, and those are small quilts, but hopefully your son's 40th birthday wasn't a surprise to you. I need the dimensions of your quilt. Please be accurate with that. I will remeasure before I quilt. So if you tell me it's smaller,
to try and make it cheaper.
It's not going to happen. For batting, you can either mark that you've provided it or what you would like us to use. In the shop, we have 80/20. We have 100% cotton. We have a wool that's a washable wool. It's beautiful stuff. We have a Dream Puff, which is a polyester bat that is very nice and lofty and lightweight, and it's a high quality polyester. And then we also have our Orient, which is a silk bamboo blend. Not listed on here is we do also have some limited 100% bamboo options.
The 80/20 is a cotton polyester blend.
Yes, 80% cotton, 20% polyester. The next thing is thread. This is where you can specify a color. Most people will check the box that says Quilter's Choice. If you have a color you really want, that's fine. Most of our thread choices, if you say Quilter's Choice, we're going to choose something that blends. Because when you look at a quilting design, really what you're seeing is the negative space created by the quilting, not the line itself. Sometimes that line can end up distracting. So sometimes we really want to see the line. A lot of times we don't. Yeah. Anyway, the next one is backing, again provided, or you can tell us what you want us to pull off the shelf in the shop. Quilting, density, low, medium, high. Low density is very light quilting.
Loose.
Very loose quilting. Not a lot of stitches happening here. Medium is what we have for the most part in our shop, and it's what most people in our customer base select. High is very tight quilting. Lots and lots of stitches per pass. That's what Liz likes best. The price does go up from low, medium, high because I'm spending a lot more time stitching, and it's a lot more time on the long arm, a lot more thread. The next one is Pantograph, or Panto. That's the digital designs. We have a green binder here by the front door that you can flip through at any time to choose some of them. If there is a pantograph you found online that you really like, we can always buy that and put it on here. And we just put that onto your bill. If it's something we as a shop also really like and think we might use again, we're happy to split that cost with you. If you want something really random that I may never use again, like Nebraska corn huskers with corns of cob on the back or something.
Why wouldn't you use that again?
I might let you take all of that. The next one right here, her husband's a husker. Trim quilt, what that means is I square it up. I cut off all this extra stuff around so you have a nice square quilt when I give it back to you.
We don't charge extra for that.
No charge for that, so it's not an extra. The reason we have that as an option is some people are really particular about how they like it trimmed and they want to have that control. As a slightly control freak myself, I totally understand that. That being said, I'm more than happy to trim your quilt for you because it does take up a lot of space, and I do have a big cutting counter here. Return scraps, that's again totally optional. Some people don't want what I trim off back, they just want me to get rid of it. That's great. If you want it back, that's fine too. The next option is binding. We will bind a quilt for you. There are fees for it. If I have to prepare your binding, that's 10 cents an inch. We measure it by the perimeter. So sides of your quilt all added together, that's how we get a perimeter. Preparing it is 10 cents an inch. Attaching it to the front is 10 cents an inch. If I machine finish it, that's another 10 cents an inch. If I hand finish it, that's another 10 cents an inch. So beginning to end by machine is 30 cents an inch. Beginning to end by hand is 40 cents an inch.
It can cost more than your quilting. So.
Hand binding generally costs more than the quilting. I'm happy to do it.
But it takes a lot of time.
But that is the price because it does take a lot of time.
If you are wanting to estimate what it's going to cost to have your quilt done before you come, the best thing you can do is look at the dimensions of your quilt. So if your quilt, the one I have right here, is 64 by 64. What you would do is grab out your handy dandy calculator on your phone, which everybody has, and you're going to take 64 and multiply it by 64 because those are my square inches. So right now I know I have 4,096 square inches on this quilt. Our average price for quilting is 2 cents an inch. So you're going to multiply that by 0.02.
Liz likes 10, so it would be 0.025.
Yeah, but for the rest of everybody. So the quilting charge on this would be $81.92 to have this quilt quilted in the shop. So if you're looking to figure out your number before you come in, that's how you do it.
Thread would be approximately, our thread charges tend to be somewhere between $3 to $7 depending on the quilt.
How big the quilt is.
If it's a variegated thread or a custom thread you bring into me, there tends to be a surcharge on that because it can be a bit more of a challenge for me to work with. Batting, again, we have those prices listed. You can also do the same thing, do the math to figure out what the binding is if you'd like us to bind it for you. If you have any questions, feel free to email us, call the shop. We're happy to help you with it. I hope this has been helpful for knowing how to get your quilt prepared to go to the Longarmer.
Please bring it in 3 separate layers.
Yes, please don't sandwich it. As fun as that is.
It goes on the machine in 3 separate layers so they can all come detached.
Right. So that's work you don't have to do.
Exactly.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much. We appreciate your
patronage.
We love having this shop. We love getting to do this for our customers and seeing the finished products.
Have fun quilting.
Thanks.